Hey guys, Derek here. So, as you can see, it is built. I have been printing with it as well, and I'm just going to show you a couple of things for part 2 which you need to look out for when building this. Okay, so the A-frame which you can see before was okay. It was easy to put together. You just have to line these up with the extrusions and everything just goes together, which is great. The other thing, as this is part 2, this part here where the heater bed is, just make sure with the springs you have it absolutely level with the gantry, with the hot end, because if it ain't, it's just not going to print. It's not going to stick at all. Here on the gantry you're going to have not just one, but there's 2 eccentric nuts on either side. These have to be proper tensioned. They just don't move at the moment now because they obviously, I've tensioned them and they're fine. For the Y axis where it comes up on the belt, these have to be like tight as well. Yeah. The way I normally do it is when you're putting this part on, I leave a little gap at the top. So what you can do is undo it, pull it, and then tighten it. That will then obviously keep this tensioned. Same with this. The other thing that you need to look out for is the Y end stop on this printer. Okay, so the Y end stop, what happens is it normally, because of the weight of the gantry, it will start pushing this down, so it loses its home. So what I've done, I've literally tightened it as much as I can. It's starting to break the cover around the end stop, but that's not going anywhere now. That's solid. The other thing I found as well is when you're taking it all apart, you will have this part here. I think it's from the Y. Yeah, it's from the Y on when you're taking it apart. I think it was holding the 3 screws or something that was holding it together. Anyway, I'm using this for the ribbon cable. So the ribbon cable comes here and it pushes it to the side so it doesn't get caught, and then obviously it just hangs down there and goes underneath the bars where it's holding the thing into the printer. And that is the main things you have to look out for. That was a bit of a tight squeeze to get in. What I'm talking about, sorry, is the X homing part and the motor. Because they're basically in the same place, it just missed the connector for the motor in here. So you just got to be very careful with that as well. Okay, the other thing is the bed itself. Okay, so you need to also make sure that this from here to here and from the back one is absolutely spot on. They need to be the same distance, otherwise the bed, you won't be able to move it as easy when it's slightly skew-whiffed. It ain't gonna work. It'll work, it'll put a lot of pressure on the motor to turn it, but You just need to look out for it. The other thing I found as well, on these parts that hold the belt, where you would use like a grub screw to go in there to hold it nice and tight, it's doing this with mine, so it's pulling this out. So I'm going to need to obviously put something on here that will keep it tight up so it doesn't come apart, because obviously if you're having this printing like 2 or 3 or even 4 days or even longer, you don't want this to come out when you're not watching it, and then for the belt to be all over the place, and then your print's ruined. So you're going to need to double check this, that you can see that that's already coming out. So I'm going to need to push it in. So one sec, I'll just put you on the belt. Let me just push that back in, and then I'll show you what I'm on about. See, now that's back in. It's because of the grub screws on these parts that go in here does not hold it properly. They just keep on slipping. That's what I've found. So these are like plasticky, and what they should have been metal with an actual proper grub screw thread, so you can actually thread it in, and then that would have been fine. So that's putting on the X-Gantry and the other stuff that I found. Just be very careful as well. You'll be wanting to use the original screws, but they would hang out the end. So swap them round and make sure you're using the ones that's actually in the instructions to use. Also, one last thing quickly, make sure these are tight. Yeah, as tight as you can, because they and obviously you got this part has the X screwed into it, but this part is the part that's pulling it up and down mostly, so this has to be screwed in nice and tight. But other than that, it's printing. This is one of the legs for the roller extension, but it's printing fine. I am going to get a few more prints done, and I will be uploading to the Facebook group, which I will leave a link down below, of any updates that I'm doing. I quickly designed these. They're just to hold this in place, because at the moment there is nothing holding this to the bed, to the base. So it moves. The original process was to just leave it there and it'd be fine. But all I'm doing is I've just created these little brackets that you can just easily do yourself, just to hold it on. I'm going to finish it off by doing some for the back as well, so they just come up and they will hold it steady as well. But yeah, other than that, I'm happy with it. I've got an octo print running obviously from in there, and it goes inside. Octo print is inside, and that's printing fine. But yeah, very happy with it so far. Like and subscribe. Any comments down below is, just let me know what you think. If you've got any questions, post them down below, and the next video will be the review of what I've printed and what I think of it. But I can spoiler, it's good. Okay, see you later. Bye.